welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's dive right in and map out the IELTS exam, unlocking the compass you need to achieve your highest possible band score. Whether you're aiming for a solid band 7 or pushing for that elusive perfect band 9, we're going to break down exactly how this test works and the high-level strategies examiners are actually looking for.
So I've got to ask, are you ready to conquer the world's most popular English test? Because honestly, that's exactly what the IELTS is. It's the ultimate gateway, the single biggest stepping stone to global universities, professional registration, and international immigration. To put this into perspective, over 3.5 million people take this exam every single year. When you sit down in that exam room or log in for the computer-delivered test, you are joining a massive, truly global community of test takers, all striving to prove their English proficiency to the world. Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with understanding IELTS, move to choosing a module, outline the 4 test components, dive into a writing masterclass, hit speaking for bands 7 to 9, and wrap up with common mistakes to avoid. All right, Section 1. Understanding IELTS, Global Gateway.
What's really fascinating here is the sheer power of this one test. Your IELTS score is accepted by literally more than 12,000 institutions across over 140 countries. Need a UK visa? It's an approved test. Moving to Australia, New Zealand, or Canada? It meets their strict immigration requirements. It'll run you about $250, and your results, which range from a band 0 for non-users all the way up to a band 9 for experts, stay valid for 24 months. So you've got 2 full years to use those results to unlock doors all over the world.
Moving on to Section 2, choosing a module, academic versus general.
Now, there isn't just one single IELTS test. Picking the right one is absolutely crucial, and it all comes down to your end goal. If you're looking to get into a university or you need professional registration, like if you're a doctor or an engineer, you're going to want the academic module. But if your plan is to get work experience, do some non-academic training, or migrate to an English-speaking country, the general training module is your path. And heads up, the reading and writing sections actually change depending on which one you pick, so definitely choose carefully.
Okay, Section 3, the 4 test components, test day structure.
So what does test day actually look like? Well, brace yourself for an intense 2 hours and 45 minutes. It kicks off with a 30-minute listening section, jumps right into 60 minutes of reading, and then another 60 minutes of writing. The real kicker here is that you do listening, reading, and writing all in one single sitting. Now, your speaking test, which is just a quick 10 to 15-minute face-to-face, might happen on that exact same day, or it could be scheduled up to a week before or after your main test date.
Next up, Section 4, Writing Masterclass, targeting top bands.
Whether you're taking the academic or general module, you've got to tackle Task 1 and Task 2 in the writing section. First pro tip, Task 2 carries way more weight for your final mark, so prioritize accordingly. But how exactly are examiners scoring you? It comes down to 4 very specific criteria. 1, task achievement. Did you actually answer the prompt? 2, coherence and cohesion. Do your ideas flow in a logical way? 3, lexical resource. How sophisticated is your vocabulary? And 4, grammatical range and accuracy. Are you nailing those complex sentence structures? Hitting all 4 of these is the only way to max out your score. Let's pivot to Section 5, speaking bands 7 to 9, sounding natural. When you're sitting face-to-face with the examiner and they throw a really tough question your way, dead silence is your absolute worst enemy. Instead, try opening with something like, "That's an interesting question," or "Now that you mention it, this naturally buys you some thinking time." And guess what? Examiners actually love this. It shows a genuine, natural conversational flow while you gather your thoughts, which is infinitely better than just staring at them blankly. Another quick win is upgrading your linking words. Remember that coherence and cohesion score we just talked about? Instead of relying on basic words like and or but, try dropping in sophisticated connectors like furthermore, nevertheless, or consequently. It instantly levels up your response. Using these naturally proves you've got a much higher grammatical range, and it makes your entire argument just flow seamlessly from one point to the next. You know, another hallmark of a top-tier band 7 to 9 speaker is nuance. Native speakers almost never speak in pure absolutes. By weaving in phrases like to some extent, by and large, or relatively speaking, you're proving you have a true, sophisticated command of the English language. You're showing you can weigh different sides of an issue, which is an absolute must, especially when you hit Part 3 of the speaking test. Finally, Section 6, Common Mistakes. Avoid these pitfalls.
All right, let's talk about the specific detail trap in listening part 1. You would not believe how many brilliant students throw away the easiest marks here. Why? Just because they forget to double-check the spelling of a common name, or they write down a monetary amount but totally forget the currency symbol, like a dollar or pound sign. In an exam where literally every half band counts, these silly formatting errors are completely devastating. So, always double-check your specifics.
That brings us to a huge red flag in both the speaking and writing modules, sounding overly rehearsed. Please do not force incredibly academic, clunky phrases into your answers just because you think it sounds smart. If you're memorizing chunks of text and trying to shoehorn them in, the examiner is going to spot it a mile away. Mixing super formal words with casual chat just sounds weirdly unnatural. Trust me, authentic, conversational language that actually fits your point will score way higher every single time. I want to wrap up our strategy deep dive with this incredible insight from a senior IELTS examiner. They pointed out that the IELTS exam today is way less about testing your memory and so much more about testing your ability to think critically in English. The candidates who can naturally connect broad global issues to their own personal experiences, they're the ones consistently outscoring the people relying on memorized scripts. At the end of the day, true English proficiency is about personal connection and real critical thought. Which leaves us with one final question to ponder as you gear up for test day. Will you rely on a rigid, memorized script, just crossing your fingers that the right question pops up? Or will you put in the time to think critically, apply these strategies, and truly master the nuances of the English language?